Today I'm going to be talking about the Ultimate Marking Pencil. I have some photos to share from my retreat not this weekend, the weekend before. Various fabrics that I've added to my stash, including some really great wools. Satsuma Street cross-stitch kits. The book review will be for a book called 21 Days to Learn to Use Your Serger. Tonight's bag lab is how to clean your iron, and there's a great giveaway at the end. I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. Thanks so much for joining me for Social Sunday, my monthly sewing chat. Hey everyone, welcome to Social Sunday. Thanks so much for joining me for the show. I have some really great things to show you tonight, including a notion and the iron cleaner, so I'm really excited to get to tonight's show. My usual spam reminder, if you're watching over on Facebook and you receive a private message with a copy of our Sew Sweetness logo, sometimes they're sending you a link asking you to click on that to submit payment in order to claim a prize or give out personal information. Please report or block that. And if you're watching over on YouTube and you've left a comment on the show and you receive a reply to your comment, again, it's usually a copy of our Sew Sweetness logo. They're usually asking for similar things like information or how to claim a prize. Please report or block that. I always announce the winner's name verbally on the show, and we also have the winner's name entered into the description of the show as well. And also everything that I'm scheduled to talk about, I link to in the description. So if you're interested in finding out more about any of the books, fabrics, notions, or projects that I talk about during Social Sunday, just check that link in the description and you can find out more information there. So the notion for this month's show is the Ultimate Marking Pencil, and I found this when we went to one of the quilt shops at my retreat, so I thought it was really cool, something I'd never seen before. So I'm going to have Danny switch to the overhead camera and show you what it looks like. So it comes in this little plastic tube so you can keep it safe and or clean, and it's basically a wax pencil. So it's got a little plastic sleeve over here just when you're holding it with your hand, just to keep the wax from melting, from the heat of your hand. And you'll just use a pencil sharpener to sharpen it, and you'll use one size larger from a standard size pencil sharpener. So I've got it's made for dark fabrics, so I chose a piece of purple fabric here, and I'm going to get my iron going, and I'm just going to draw a few lines. And it's always recommended whenever you're using any kind of marking tool to test it on a scrap of your fabric first, just to make sure you like how it looks when you're using it, and also that it irons or brushes away depending on what the marking tool is for. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark. I like the tip of this. I find it not to be too thick, so I think the markings are accurate. I was doing some tests earlier today where I make a bunch of markings and then I put my ruler up just to make sure that the markings were accurate to what I was planning to measure, and I found that they were. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my iron and iron the markings off. Okay, so I do see a faint marking on this. Again, this will differ depending on the fabric. I tested it on a solid, which, let me pull a little scrap of this over here. Mark some on the solid as well. Usually when I'm marking on the right side of the fabric, it's for things like magnetic snaps or placement for something, and sometimes those areas will get covered up in the finished bag and sometimes not. So that's why it's always important to test it on a scrap of fabric first. All right, and you also can wash afterwards. So I'm going to use some of my spray starch just to simulate getting the fabric wet. Okay, so again, this is the Ultimate Marking Pencil, and if you're interested in checking this out after the show, I have got a link in the description so you can find out more information there. So I have a few photos to share with you. My sewing retreat was this past September 26th through the 28th, and it was a 3-day retreat. The first day we had lunch at a restaurant just to get to know one another, and we did a 5-hour tour bus following the lunch, and we went to 3 different quilt shops in the area, which was super fun. And then on Saturday, I taught the Darner backpack, which is a new unreleased pattern. And on Sunday, I taught the Doolittle pouch. So it was lots of fun. Loved seeing everyone at the retreat, some familiar faces, some new faces, and it was certainly a great memory. And yeah, it was just an awesome time. So Danny's put together a little slideshow of some pictures from the retreat. Yeah, this is some quilt shop photos. That's the tour bus that we went on. And then this was our classroom. So the classroom was at the hotel, which was really nice. We had sewing hours until 10 at night on the first day, sorry, on the Saturday, and then 7 o'clock on the Sunday. And there's some photos of some finished bags as well. So the nice thing about having the retreat at a hotel is those that are staying overnight in a hotel room can just pop back up to their room in the evening and just go straight to bed. So nice having everything at the hotel, and that particular hotel is a really great location. So lots of fun. I don't yet have a future retreat decided or scheduled, but you'll be the first to hear about any plans. I'll let you know on future Social Sunday shows. All right, so sorry, Danny?
Let's see, which one do I get? Hold on. Oh, she's got the best.
You can still steal if you want to. Except for the ones that are
Got here. Let me think about this one. Oh my God. Very close. Oh, right.
You get, yeah.
I know. Or you roll the dice on the last one.
I'll roll the dice on the last one.
Good luck.
Want the ribbon? No, I'll keep the bag.
Ooh.
How about a little towel?
Yeah.
So that video was a little clip from our white elephant swap. We did that on the second day of the retreat, and that was a lot of fun as well. Lots of laughing, as you can hear from the video. So I have a question for you. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever taken a sewing class or gone to a sewing retreat? Let me know. I'm curious to see what kinds of events you're going to. Oh, I also wanted to mention on the tour bus, the 3 quilt shops that we went to in the Chicagoland area were Peaceful Gathering, Warm and Cozy, and So Modern Chicago. So shout out to those 3 shops. Thanks for letting us stop by on the tour bus trip. All right, so lots of new fabrics that I've added to my stash because of that tour bus trip. This is about half of what I got. So picked up some really nice wools. This is a nice, really dark navy color. And I got most of these in half-yard pieces for bags. So just several of the colors really caught my eye. So looking forward to using some of these. This is my favorite one, the dark green. And then I did also get some quilting cottons. A couple of these are from Anna Maria. Love this purple color. Love it. And another colorway from the same print. Some watermelons for a summer bag. Got some washi tape fabric. And then these last 2 fabrics from the same fabric line. I really liked them. Let me open this up a little bit. And this one's pretty neat too. It's got a bunch of quilt block shapes on it, so thought this one was really nice. I think I'd probably use this one for an exterior and this one for a lining, but I guess it could go either way. They're both sort of medium scale prints. All right, if you're interested in any of these fabrics, I've linked to them in the description, and you can check that out after the show if you'd like. And if you've been watching my live show for some time, you've probably seen these little cross-stitch kits that I like to make, little ornaments for Halloween or Christmas. So they just came out with 4 new kits, and each kit makes 2 little ornaments. And in the kit is the cross-stitch pattern as well as the floss needed, and there's little sparkle sprinkles over here that get stitched into the final product. And then there's some cats, pumpkins. The pumpkins are my favorite. And then there's some skulls as well.
Sarah, those cats were, if you cut the heads off, that's a Dalek from Doctor Who.
Oh, that's funny.
Hint, hint, cut the heads off.
No. All right, since we're talking about Halloween already, Halloween coming up this month, what's your favorite holiday? Let me know in the comments. Danny, what's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
Halloween's probably a close second.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. All right, I know some of you have Serger, so when I saw this book, I definitely wanted to review it for the show. It's called 21 Days to Learn to Use Your Serger, and it's basically, the title says it all. Everything's laid out in small chunks for 21 days with tips and instructions for you to get to know your Serger better. So I thought it was a really clever idea, and I like that it doesn't seem overwhelming just because it's broken down into the days. So day 1 is understanding the uses of my Serger, so starting at the very beginning. There's lots of full color photos, step by step. Lots of things are discussed, like what materials can you use with your Serger. Oftentimes, I find that the most common use for Sergers for garments. What are the different parts of the Serger? What needles to use. So literally everything's covered. How to thread your Serger, which is, for me, the hardest thing about having the Serger when you're first learning how to use it, at least. Chapters on things like thread tension, maintenance for your Serger.
Is there a funny comment?
Evelyn says it's going to take me longer than 21 days. Basic stitches. So the chapters, as you can see, all very helpful chapters. Lots of photos, like I mentioned. And then talking about waistbands, neckbands, and cuffs. So there's actually a project in this book. There's a QR code and a link, so you can use either one to get to the pattern pieces, but it's a simple sweatshirt, and they kind of walk you through the project so that you can make your first Serger project. So I thought this was a really great book. Everything was laid out. I felt like it was really easy to understand. Even though I've used a Serger before, I felt it was really relatable. Certainly when I first started using my Serger, it was really scary, and every time I went to thread it, I had to refer to the manual and to videos online. So definitely a little bit of a learning curve, but once you know how to use it, it's a really useful tool. So again, it's called 21 Days to Learn to Use Your Serger, and there's a link in the description in case you'd like to check it out later. So Danny, are you ready?
No, actually not. Interrupting the show for a special report, because now it is time for Bag Lab.
All right, today's Bag Lab was me demonstrating how to clean your iron using the Odif iron cleaner, which is, this is the outer packaging. As you can see, I've already used mine. But I haven't demonstrated this product until now because I didn't have irons that were dirty enough, but in getting ready for my retreat, I realized that my 2 working irons were covered in goo, and so
Filth.
They were filthy. I started cleaning one. Danny helped me. As you'll see in the video, I'm very liberal with the iron cleaner, but when Danny worked on the second iron cleaning it, he used very little. So perhaps don't be like me and start off with a little and see how that goes. But here's my video showing how I cleaned my 2 dirty irons. This is the Odif iron cleaner, and on the back of the package, in just illustrations, there's instructions for use. So start off with turning your iron on so that it's hot. Put some of the liquid on a piece of fabric, iron it, and then that'll clean your iron. And you can use a regular iron, and also if you use an electric cutting machine with an ironing pad or press, you can use that as well. So here's what my iron looks like. As you can see, super dirty. And I'm going to turn it on and set it at the cotton setting. I'm going to let it heat up all the way, and then I'm going to apply some of this iron cleaner to my fabric. I'm just using a quilting cotton, just a scrap of fabric that I've got from a previous project. Since my iron's really dirty, I'm going to use a lot, but obviously you can start off with a small amount and you can make a few passes. You don't have to just go through one time. Okay, so just waiting for my iron to heat up all the way. Normally it beeps when it's ready to go. And as you can see, it's a 2-ounce packet of liquid, so this will do for a few iron cleanings if need be, so you can save the rest for future use. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and iron the liquid. As you can see on camera, the dirty residue is starting to come off on my fabric. So it's looking pretty good. The plate definitely had all the brown streaks on it. I'm going to go through and do another pass, and then I'll show you what it looks like after I've done a few passes with the iron cleaner. So this is my second pass through with adding more liquid, and let's see how it's looking. Okay, so you probably remember there was brown all the way around the tip, and you can see some of the brown residue is starting to come off. Great. Okay, so this is my third pass. As you can see, all the gunk is coming off on the fabric. Wow. Honestly, I'm going to say I'm really surprised it got all that off, because I thought it was going to be permanent, to be honest. Okay, so I'm going to do a few more passes and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so my iron is nearly clean. There's a couple of areas that are remaining. Danny had a suggestion to try a microfiber cloth, so I'm trying the side that's how would you describe it?
Finished, the other side's raw.
Yeah, so the side that's fluffy, that's the side I've got face down. So I'm going to try on the other area. As you can see, it already got a lot of gunk off. And I'm using a little bit of pressure just in the areas where I still need to get it clean. Okay, so wow, I'm thrilled. Look how great it looks. I'm gonna keep working, but I think you get the gist. It started off super dirty with brown gunk all over it, and wow, it looks great. So again, this is the Odif iron cleaner. Okay, so both of my irons were equally dirty, and this is what they looked like after using the iron cleaner. Fabulous. So there's a link in the description if you're interested in checking out more about this iron cleaner. I have to say, this was Danny and I's first time watching that video back since we filmed it, and while the video was playing just now, we were both laughing hysterically at how much product that I used, and just remembering that Danny used like one little, not even maybe a pea-sized amount, and just watching how much I used, like my first pass, just we were both laughing, right, Danny?
Yep.
All right, I've got a link in the description for the iron cleaner if you're interested in that. As you can see, did a really amazing job, and I mean, I have to say I am glad I had, you know, two dirty irons so that I could show you how well it worked, but hoping to keep my irons clean in the near future. All right, I'm going to answer some questions live in just a minute, so if you have a question for me, you can type it in the comments now, wherever you watch the show, either on Facebook or YouTube. Danny's looking out for your questions, and before we get over to that, I wanted to announce the winner of last month's giveaway, and That winner is MQ52. M is in Molly. MQ52, congratulations. Please email me after the show so that I can get you connected with your prize. Danny's going to pop my email address up on the screen. It's sarah@sewsweetness.com. There it is. All right, Danny, take it away with the live questions. And by the way, we'll have another live giveaway at the end of the show. Terry says, do you like this marker better than the Clover Choco marker? My Choco marker doesn't always work. So here's the, I'll have Danny switch back to the overhead camera. In case you're not familiar with the Clover Choco, this is what it looks like. It comes in different colors. This is the white. It also comes in pink, blue, yellow, and silver. I don't recommend the other colors just because I've had issues in the past with the other colors not wiping away, but the Clover Choco has a little metal wheel, and there's like chalk powder inside. This part is refillable, but basically the chalk wheel, it only goes one way. So if you're trying to use it and nothing's coming out, just try it the other way. As you can see, the line on the Clover Chocos, certainly darker. Difference is the Ultimate Marking Pencil, this irons off, and the Clover Choco brushes away. So it usually doesn't brush away immediately, but generally I find by the time you finish your project, or if you just give it some additional wipes, it'll wipe away. But yeah, that's the difference between the two. Great question. I find that I like having an array of marking tools. Like I like the friction pens in different colors. I use Clover Choco. This is getting a little ridiculous, but now the Ultimate Marking Pencil. I also like using the Sewline. I have the Sewline White Chalk, and I also have the Sewline Trio, which was 3 different colors of lead. It's white, pink, and black. And it just depends on the project, the color of fabric I need to mark, if I'm marking on the right or wrong side of the fabric. So maybe it's excessive, but I enjoy and use all these different marking tools. I do actually use them all on a regular basis. Oh, the winner of today's giveaway. Awesome. Michelle wants to know, does it leave residue on the iron? Good question. I don't really see anything on the iron. But I did also want to mention there's other types. My iron has I think it's an aluminum plate. Some have Teflon coating, so you'll want to just keep that in mind. And you can always, if you're unsure, you can always use a pressing cloth and then protect your fabric with the wax with a pressing cloth if you're not sure, or if you just want to test it out on different substrates first. Jessie says Choco wipes away better by using another piece of fabric or a dry washcloth. Oh, thank you. Great idea. I'm glad you mentioned that, Jessie, because I've never heard the tip about the dry washcloth, but oh yeah, I do see it wiping away. Interesting. Thanks for the tips on that.
So yeah, other people mentioned using that.
Awesome.
Did you say what kind of iron you use?
My irons are older, so they're the Singer Expert Finish irons. I don't think Singer's making them anymore, but Singer makes a similar iron, which I think is still available for sale. Do you have a suggestion for a bag to use for a small diaper bag for just a 1 to 2 hour trip? Small diaper bag. I'm not sure if the bags that I usually recommend for diaper bags are either the Chickadee backpack or the Aragon bag. I'd say between the two, the Aragon bag's smaller, but if you need something even smaller than that, let me think. I'll have to think about that, but maybe if you're watching live and you have a recommendation for a diaper bag, but on the small side, let me know in the comments a Sew Sweetness pattern that you have used for a diaper bag that's smaller or that you would suggest for that purpose. Charlotte says, would the microfiber melt at the cotton setting? In the iron video, I did have it. I pretty much always have it at the cotton setting. The microfiber, well, this is not the original microfiber, but I didn't notice any melting. Danny, do you remember anything when you were cleaning your iron?
Melting.
Okay. Can you use this cleaner on a non-stick sole? Yeah, there's no mention on the packaging for different plates. So I would make the assumption that you could use it on various ones, just because irons, some of them do have the non-stick coating as well. Jay says, is the Odif company the same as the people who make Odie Coat? Yes, same company, just this one's the iron cleaner, and I don't have an Odie Coat handy, but same company. Glenda says, are the new patterns coming out, or did I miss it? They're coming out late fall. I don't have a release date yet. I'm working on the third pattern right now. I cut the fabric out for it, and I wrote the instructions the other day, so it'll be the backpack, which I already showed you on last month's show, the Doolittle pouch. I'm thinking about a tote bag pattern, but I haven't started that one yet, and the third project that I'm working on right now is a pouch in 4 different sizes. Lynn says, Sarah, when will your next retreat be held? I'm not sure. I'm kind of thinking maybe we should have it in a different location, maybe a different state, but haven't decided yet.
In the wintertime where it's warm somewhere, please.
Yeah. Camille says, this last weekend was my very first retreat. I had a couple bloopers during class that helped keep us chuckling and had a great time. I feel like bloopers, I feel like you probably mean using a seam ripper. I use my seam ripper all the time, so no shame in that game using the seam ripper. Nancy says, are you going to split the last 4 patterns? Yes, on September 30th, the previous new patterns were released individually, so if you're interested in those, you can get those on my website right now, and those are the Cascula pouch, the Pierce crossbody backpack, the tadpole pouch, and the personal ensign bag. Lucy says, you've been doing monthly podcasts for a while now. How's it going for you, Danny and the family? And any thoughts to going back to weekly or bi-monthly podcasts? I feel like
Playing a sad part.
I'm going to say that while we were still doing the shows weekly, when I thought about doing them monthly or making some sort of a schedule change, I was really scared for how that was going to go. Anytime you make any changes, sometimes things can get scary, but I realized we could always try something different and then go back if we wanted to. And I feel like the monthly shows are, for me personally, are working out just because having to come up with new bag labs every week was... I'm afraid of running out of ideas, to be honest, for bag labs, and so having them on a monthly basis is a little bit less pressure and also gives me time to work on the patterns. So I feel like this year I've been I've been doing a good job as far as like working on the patterns and releasing, and so I think we'll probably keep for the time being to a monthly show schedule. Donna says, how about a retreat in the UK? I mean, I'm not opposed. Summer in the UK. I'm not opposed to different countries, certainly. Catherine says, does friction come out easily? Yes, let me pull out my friction. I'll have Danny switch to the overhead camera. So friction pens, I have a bunch of different colors. Some of them I use more than others. I use blue and orange and red the most out of all the colors. Where's my ruler? So I like to have a bunch of colors just because, you know, obviously different fabric colors that you're working on. With the friction, I prefer to mark on the wrong side of the fabric unless it's an area that will be covered up by something later on. Let me get my iron going. It's cooled down a little bit. But I do like the friction. They don't last forever, so over time they just, you know, wear out a little bit. Oh, thanks for the comment, Teresa. Teresa says, miss seeing Danny, though. All right, I'm going to hit those lines with the friction. So they almost remove all the way. I've heard stories of people mentioning in the past. Oh, that's really close, Danny.
So you can see it.
Once the fabric gets cold, or say, for example, you put it in the freezer, the marks tend to come back like a not that the marks come back in color, but it just kind of leaves like a whitish line on your fabric. So that's why I like marking the friction on the wrong side. But yeah, that's why I like having my different array, just so I can select based on the need what I'm working on. Actually, I have a pink one too. Yeah, I have all sorts of pink, white, 3 colors. Yeah, lots of like to have lots of marking tools. Michelle says, I really like the monthly shows. I can plan for them easier. That makes sense. And also, I've been sending out a newsletter for every show as a reminder earlier in the day. So if it was every week, I'm not sure. I probably wouldn't do that just because that's a lot of emails sent out. Terry says, so what have you been sewing, Sarah, besides the new patterns? What have I been sewing? At the retreat, I did bring my sewing machine because I thought in the evenings I might work on a quilt, and I got probably 25% through like a single quilt block, a very easy quilt block, and I just, like my brain cells were not functioning that late at night because I'm a morning person, so I didn't get very far, but I had ambitious goals, certainly. I brought 2 quilts to work on, and like 0.0001% of a quilt got completed. I will say I haven't been sewing for a non-pattern lately, but I am getting together with a couple of my friends from the barn to work on a table runner from GE Designs. They have these really cool, I haven't received them yet, but they have these really cool table runners that the foundation paper piecing is actually printed on the batting. So these 2 friends don't know how to sew, so I will be teaching them how to sew on that table runner, and I'm super excited, and hopefully they love sewing like I do, so I can have friends that love sewing and horses. That's my goal, to convert everyone, all the non-sewers in my life, to be sewers. All right, Danny, is that it on the questions? Mm-hmm. All right. Next is to get to the giveaway. The giveaway for this month is a $50 gift certificate to sewsweetness.com. You can spend it on sewing patterns, notions, fabric, cork, whatever you like, hardware, zipper pulls, the list goes on. The giveaways are randomly drawn. You have until the end of the day this Saturday to leave a comment on the show wherever you watch, either on Facebook or YouTube. We add all the comments together, and then I will announce the randomly drawn winner on next month's show. Next month's show is on November 2nd, as usual, on Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. And I have an extra bonus question for you that you can answer in the comments as an extra method of entry. How often do you get routine maintenance for your sewing machine? Let me know. Maybe you only take it in for maintenance when something's going wrong. Maybe you take it in every year. Maybe every 2 years. Let me know in the comments how often do you take your sewing machine in for maintenance. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in to Sewcial Sunday. I had a great time. I hope you did too. And have a great week and happy sewing. Bye, everybody.